Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. This is Mars here, and we are talking about Top Boy. That's right, that banger from the UK, the Wire, the new Wire, as some people would call it. This is season 5, if you count it from the UK, but here in Netflix it's being, I think, the end of season 3. But whatever it is, it's the finale of the series, and in this one, wow, it goes out with a bang, literally. And here, I mean, I'm assuming most of you guys have read it. I've seen the show, and there are going to be spoilers. If you like this content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. So we're going to start off with the very first thing. Sully has basically taken over the organization, right, at Summer House. He has pushed Duchesne out. You know, Duchesne had to take a step back while Sully's like, yo, I'm running the show. Remember, in the previous season, Jamie was killed. He was killed by Sully because Sully was like, yo, I can't be having both Jamie and this guy running, and Duchesne. You know, as you recall, this whole crew was started by both Duchesne and Sully. And Sully always felt that they should be running it together. But as we saw, as time goes on, Duchesne always took the lead, even though he promised Sully, hey, no, we'll do it together. But the reality is, Duchesne always took the lead. And so he was like, you know what, now it's my turn. Sully's saying, I fixed your mess from the previous season. Now I'm running the show. So you know what? Duchesne is like, all right, cool. You know, as long as I'm getting paid, because that's what was happening before. Duchesne was paying Sully, you know, his share of the profits, but you know he stayed out of it. But now it's the other way around. Sully's now in charge, and so he's going to pay Duchesne. But what happens, bro? What happens? We see that Sully, he's about to get a drug package, but what happens? His the drug drop, the dealer, whoever was supposed to give it to him, gets killed and is stolen. So there's a whole subplot where he's trying to find out who stole the drugs. At one point, he's thinking it's probably Duchesne who's trying to screw him or whatever, but lo and behold, it wasn't them. It was the Irish. Yeah, the Irish. They took it. They were trying to cut themselves in as middlemen and basically saying, hey, if you want to deal with this stuff, you're going to have to work with us going forward. Of course, in the interim, you have Duchesne going buck wild crazy because originally he thought he was going to be out, and so he was going to give some of his money to his girl Shelly so that she can, you know, take over a chain of shops. But what ends up happening is that the guy, the woman he was giving money to, basically takes off with his cash, you know, millions, thinking like $15 or $16 million, all gone. Look, you never put all your money in one place, whether you're legit or illegit, you know, because stuff like this is going to happen. So this is what happened to him. He was investing in the Summer House redevelopment. And this is indicative of the dude. This dude didn't care about anybody. He lives in Summer House, and he's basically, tear down the house, the projects, and just get everybody out and redevelop it. And that's all he cared about. And so, on the other hand, you have Sully, who's a cold-blooded murderer. He killed Jamie. He killed Driz, who was one of his good friends, you know, because he couldn't trust him. I mean, this is the way this game is played, unfortunately. And talking about Driz, the mother of his child, Mandy, was in jail while he was out. And when he came back, he was killed. And his daughter starts having a relationship with Stefan, who was the brother of Jamie. So it's wild how the circle comes around. Small, the community, everybody's basically doing stuff here. But, you know, Mandy's trying to turn her life around. What we see from Duchesne and Sully is basically, you know, these two guys are just, let's call it what it is. I mean, they're criminals. And, of course, they're going to get the comeuppance in this end series. There's no happiness at the end for these guys. It is done. These guys are bad, you know, by the way they treat people and what they want. I mean, again, Duchesne only cares about the profit, nothing else. He doesn't care about the neighborhood, doesn't care about the people he's with. Hell, he barely cares about Shelly, his girlfriend. You know, all is about the money. And then you have the same thing with Sully is so deep in life, you know, that he can't get out. So now, I mean, like, there's a line where he says something along the lines that this is it for him, you know, this is how he's going to be. He always knew he was going to possibly die in the life, basically. But continuing, so now Duchesne has a problem. He goes over to, I forgot the name of the character. He goes over to the husband of the woman who had set him up with the money, and he ends up killing him. You know, you figure by now this guy is at such a level that he'll understand that you can't be doing stuff like that, but he ends up killing the guy. Of course, he said he cleaned everything up, but he didn't. His prints on everything. And so the cops come looking after him. So he needs cash, you know. going back to Sully, Sully finally gets the drugs. He puts a drop on the Irish along with Duchesne, and so they get their cash back, and he stashes it. But what happens? Jack, the number one lieutenant. She's the Snoop from Wire of Top Boy. I mean, it's so close on a lot of things they do. She basically goes there. Her sister dies of a drug overdose by one of the people that works for her. And so she's having a crisis of faith. You know, she's been selling drugs to the whole neighborhood. But as always, it doesn't bother you until it's somebody that you know. And since it was one of her own guys and one of her own merchandise, you know, and everybody knew basically that her sister, she was having postnatal depression, that she basically OD'd. I mean, she's had a rough life. She made a lot of bad decisions. So, you know, now she figures, let me take the drugs so no one can sell this to kill anybody. But of course, you know, when Sully figures it out, it is not a good look. You know, he's basically going to come. He's like, yo, look, there's no pass for you. You know, that she basically had to hand it over. And this goes, you know, but before that happened, he went over to the old crew, Jamie's old crew, which Stefan hangs out with, Stefan, Jamie's brother. And he basically manhandled their leader, making him look like a sucker, you know. So, you know, and everybody knows Sully's the one who did the drop. And you know who was there when Sully made the drop? Stefan. Stefan saw the whole thing, but he kept his mouth shut. And now here he is, someone who's treated him like a friend and family. Sai is his name. He gets manhandled by Sonny on a false, trumped-up charge. So, boom. You know, he already hates Sonny. You continue on here. We go back to Sully is now trying to get, he gets his drug from, he's going to get his drug from Jack, right? But what happens? Dude, Duchesne sees an opportunity to take the cash. Now the cops are closing in around him. He takes the drugs himself, and so he takes off. And now you're like, what the hell is going on? But another subplot happening around there. It starts with the fact that there was the British government is starting to evict people who were in the country illegally. So one of the guys, the dealers, you know, he's there, and he's also a friend of Jack. They're trying to evict him back to, or send him to Rwanda or something like that. And, you know, they start protesting. Mandy leads the protest and says, hey, no, we're not going to let this rock. And, of course, Duchesne doesn't care because, it's just killing into profits. At the same time, Sully's looking for his drugs, so he's not really involved that much. But you find how cold-blooded Duchesne is. This ain't worth profits. People, trying to help the community, trying to help out even his own people. He don't care. It's all about him. So there's a riot. People start scuffle, fights with the cops. There's a riot. The estate, summer house is burning. People are fighting. And so Duchesne is trying to get out. He knows the cops are after him. He got the drugs. He knows Sully's after him. The riot's happening. So you have all this tension of everything building, everything fighting. And finally, you have those two meet together. Sully's like, chasing after Duchesne. He ends up shooting him, and he gets wounded. He's like, why did you have to steal from me, bro? All you had to do was ask. Why did you have to do it? Because, these two have had tensions and problems throughout their relationship because, Duchesne, I think what happens, Duchesne never treated him like an equal. He always treated him like, a flunky or a lieutenant or whatever. And, Sully always just wanted to be treated an equal, run things together as how they were when they were younger. But it didn't work out that way. And so they have an excellent moment where they're really talking to each other. And what had happened is that our boy threw the drug bag over a fence, and then he jumped over, and that's when he got shot. And he ended up dying, But before they died, they tried to talk to one another. But, that was it. He was a criminal. What's going to happen to him? And that's the crazy part about it. Why? Because the first series basically starts with their drugs being stolen and them running around trying to get a hold of it before things go haywire. And here's the exact same ending happening again. So I was like, whoa, full circle. So now our boy Sully is in charge. Everything is done. He's taking care of the cuz. He walks his daughter to the park where he normally walks her to just to say what's up. And while he's at the park, who steps up to him? Stefan. Oh, yeah. And Stefan has a gun, and he's about to shoot him. He's like, but Sully is like not flinching, not jumping. He's like, this is how I thought it would always end. I left, all that goodness and stuff a long time away. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. But Stefan says, you know what? You ain't worth it, And And it's good because, he's been through a lot, but he realized, his life is more. He's having a relationship with Mandy's daughter. His brother's doing, I guess, marketing somewhere else. And he's seeing that there's more to life than just following in the same pattern. Revenge, unfortunately, always begets more revenge. And there has to be a point where the cycle has to stop. And here he stops that cycle and says, I'm going another way, which is good. We hope. So Sully's all cool. He walks back to his car and he sits down in his car and boom, somebody shoots him in the head and he's dead. That's how the season ends. So both the two main characters are gone, And what does this tell you, young ladies and boys? Because I say ladies because, remember we had Jack was also selling. Drug doesn't pay off. In the end, it is you are going to die, go to jail, or be messed up. And, but the question is who killed him? Nobody knows because we're not sure. Did Stefan change his mind and come back and blow off his head? We have no idea. It doesn't look like Stefan. Was it Jack who tried to shoot him because she knew that, when Sully got his act together, he was coming after her? We don't know. Could it have been Cy who he manhandled and treated like a wuss? Could be. Who knows? But, tell me what you think about that at the end of the video in the comment section. And, we'll have a lot of discussion who we think it could possibly be. Or could it be somebody totally left, someone from the past? Or could have been the Irish guys, somebody from the Irish guys, because he had killed him and Duchesne ended up killing the two top Irish guys who were taking his drugs. So, I don't know. But all I got to say, it was a great season. It was a great show. And I'm glad it ended the way it did, These guys shouldn't be getting away with living an easy life because these are bad guys, And if it's cool that what they do, but in the end, they're bad guys. They gotta suffer. They gotta die. Spinner Rack out.